Hey guys, welcome back to the Green Arc Properties at Keller Williams Greenville Central podcast. I'm Jordan Surratt, and this is Rebecca.
Hello.
And today we're going to kind of switch topics a little bit. I know we've been talking a lot about interest rates for the past few episodes, but the interest rates really aren't doing anything. I mean, they're kind of floating around 7. They're not really. I don't know. Anybody knows what's going to happen now. So we're going to shift and potentially provide some really good tips on what you can do in the current market and how you can potentially make your house more marketable, help it to sell, whether you're using an agent, whether you're trying to do it for sale by owner, all of that. We just kind of want to give you a feel of what you can do and kind of things to think about to make your house more attractive to a potential buyer.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Like hiring us. But
For sure. Always.
if you haven't, we could start with FSBOs. Those are my favorites.
Okay. So for sale by owners.
Yes.
So first of all, I want to point out that 89% of all transactions, even for sale by owners, have an agent involved. Mm-hmm. So 89%. So essentially 9 out of every 10 transactions have an agent involved. So go ahead. If you were selling your house for sale by owner, what would you do?
Well, so it would be hard for me because I would sell it as an agent. But the biggest thing that I think that we always see is people want to put so much into painting and fixing and adjusting when the best thing you can do is put everything you own away. Like everything, like clear your counter, clear out your closet, or put everything away.
For sure.
Yeah. I said
sure.
clear out your closet, but what I mean is put everything in the closet, put everything away.
For sure.
Which kind of goes to cleaning and smell. Clorox.
Oh gosh, smell for sure.
Yes.
But you don't want to smell like Clorox.
I think, well, that's debatable, but it's smelling good.
It's better Clorox than something else.
Exactly. But I think the biggest thing, I love the smell of Clorox, but the biggest thing is the look, honestly. And I think people get caught up in the big things like, should I fix this? Should I adjust this? When the best thing I think you can do is clear off your counter, like your bathroom counter, clear off like the toothpaste that's sitting on the counter, the toothbrush, the hairbrush. Honestly, it looks better if you just put it behind the shower curtain than it would if it's just sitting out, to be honest with you. If you can put it away, it's probably best.
Because it gives the mentality that it's well maintained. Mm-hmm. You don't want to walk into a cluttered house, mm-hmm. or, something that smells bad, or, you walk in and there's, a dustpan full of dust, or counters or bread, or sometimes maybe some fruit. We've had a recent listing that fruit on the counter was actually nice, really pretty, and color coordinated.
Yeah.
Shout out to the owners of that house.
Yeah. But when we say smell, I feel like that's a totally different thing. Like that's like its own bucket, because it could smell like multiple things. It could be dirty-ish. Pets, but it could also be smoke.
Oh yeah.
And cigarette smoke is
rough. You see that a whole lot these days though. Like occasionally, like maybe, mm-hmm. but it's been a very long time since I walked in and smelled like, mm-hmm. Smoke.
It's just really hard to get rid of. So if you do smoke in your home, maybe try cutting back. It's very hard to get rid of. So that's the biggest thing for smell. Also,
and it gets in the paint, and then you see it on the walls. And
the ductwork.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to painting, that doesn't really always get rid of it, and it kind of can make it just like a whole costly situation.
Sure.
Overdoing it with air fresheners. Like making it smell overboard. That's not really...
That's a really good point, because I hate to say this on camera, but I'm kind of sensitive as far as like smells like that.
You can be honest.
So when I walk in and it's like the Glade plug-in and like all these other brands like plugged in right at the door, and it just hits me, mm-hmm. like I get a headache, mm-hmm. and I'm sure I'm not the only one. No. So if I have a buyer with me and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is overwhelming, mm-hmm. that's immediately a negative for that house. Like we don't want to walk in and immediately get a headache. Mm-hmm. That's not good.
As far as look goes, you always notice a lot more than I do at homes.
Sure.
Always. So what are some things that you look for?
So the big thing, so initially walking through, I always want to check the ceiling, because I want to see, are there any watermarks? Like have there been any leaks? Are there any current leaks? Are there cobwebs in the corners?
Ooh, cobwebs.
Like is there dust down on the bottom? Is there, the air vents for like the HVAC?
Oh, yeah.
Like you always want to make sure that those are clear, because if I walk into a house and I look up and you've got that much worth of dust on your filter, you might not be maintaining your house. And that's, like little things like that. You just want to make sure that the little things are taken care of, because a lot of people will be like, oh, they don't clean the dust out of their corners. And whether that's true or not, it may be an immaculate house and everything's well maintained or whatever. But if you see a cobweb up in a corner, or your like I said, your air filter is covered in dust, or your baseboards are super dirty, like all of those things just immediately scream that maybe this house might be hiding something, or it's not as well maintained, or even if it's not like immediately, people might start thinking about it, like, wow, that house wasn't really clean.
Clean is a big thing. We've seen it ourselves with one of the listings that we have, that if you just have it meticulously maintained and cleaned, it can have, not the most brand new kitchen that someone would call HGTV-esque ready, right? It doesn't matter if it's completely well kept and you walk in and you're like, okay,
and the
everything
color coordinated.
That too. And but when you walk in, everything's perfect and it smells good and it looks good. It's not overwhelming. It's inviting. So talk about what it looks like and the features. Like what do we always look for? Because you picked out something last time that I never would have seen in a million years. So let's see if you think about it now.
What I pick out?
The lights in the house were yellow. Off of all of them were white and they were yellow. And I was like, it's fine. And you were like, no, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't want different variations of color. Mm-hmm. So with light bulbs, and I designed another business a long time ago, and so I really didn't notice it before that. But then when you go in and you start looking at lighting, you have like this plethora of options, as far as like, is it 3K lighting? Is it 4K lighting? Like, is it white light? Is it blue light? Is it yellow light? Like whatever it is. And if your light bulbs are mismatched, it throws the house off, and you might only see it subconsciously. Mm-hmm. But if the living room is yellow and then you walk into the bathroom and it's white, and then you walk into the dining room and it's blue, it for some reason, it throws off the house.
Yeah.
And people are not going to like that house as much. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you walk in and all the lighting is the same exact color or temperature, I think they call it, you're solid. Like initially, essentially what you want to do is check off all the boxes that senses immediately are going to pick up. So what's it going to look like? What's it going to smell like? What's general clutter, all of that. Just like make people feel like this is a well-maintained home.
Mm-hmm.
It smells nice.
It's the biggest thing. I think that, like, personally, if I smell something, I'm immediately turned off. And for those of us that have dogs, I know I don't, but some of us do. And you can ask a friend to come over and be like, do you smell dog? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you get desensitized to the smell because you're around it all the time. Sure. It's not necessarily a bad smell. It's just something that you're used to when you live with pets. So I always like to have people come over and just be like, hey, give it a whiff. Does this smell like anything?
Sure.
And if it does, that's a really simple fix.
Yeah, super simple. And there's super cheap ways to mitigate that and reduce and just kind of, make it smell better and make it feel better.
A lot of people want to spend a lot of money when they sell their home. And I think that's one of the biggest things if you're going to do it on your own, which I highly recommend hiring a qualified, well-trained, amazing real estate agent. But if you're going to do it on your own, that. But if you're going to do it on your own,
with a bunch of well-qualified agents and support staff and all of that,
you should probably not invest in big things. Like, we hear a lot of the time people, when we go over, like, oh, should I redo these doors? Like, should I add in
definitely
this? What do you think is something that you will always like tell someone to invest in, but versus not invest in?
So the major items, right? So when a buyer comes in, they don't want a leaky roof. Mm-hmm. Like the roof has got to be in good condition, or you at least have to have some kind of quote or plan for when that buyer comes in and they say, hey, your roof is 25 years old and it needs to be replaced. Mm-hmm. Like, now if that's the first that you're hearing of it and you haven't prepared ahead of time, and have quotes on hand and kind of ready to deal with that, then it could potentially kill your transaction. And, now you got to go back on the market and you have that negative, kind of feel that, oh, I wonder what happened, because nobody knows, oh, well, the roof needs to be replaced and the buyer was skittish and all of that. So roof is definitely a big one. HVAC. HVACs are expensive, and a buyer doesn't want to come in and spend, closing costs and down payment and inspections and all of that, and then have to turn around and put in a $10,000 HVAC as well.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's all big items is what I want to make sure. So hot water heater. Is the hot water heater solid? Like, does it have a hole in it? Is it leaking? Is it going to fall out of the ceiling? Is the electrical board going to explode and catch a fire and, whatever in your house? True story, that happened.
That's wild.
So there's all these things. We just need to make sure that the major items are intact, or set the price to reflect that they're not, and have quotes on hand.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If someone doesn't have the funds available to do those things, because the reality is not everyone will, right?
Absolutely.
It gets hard. You don't always have the money to maintain things that are $10,000 a piece.
Sure.
So something that you can do is price a condition to condition. Also, you can offer a home warranty with those things. And because they're
home warranties are coming back. Like, they went away for a very long time being like, what, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
And like prior to like 2019, 2020, like, we saw a lot of home warranties all the time. Everybody wanted a home warranty. And then, you have 57 buyers for every house come in. And now that extra $500 home warranty is a non-issue. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
We just want the house, But now we're starting to see them kind of come back. I think we got one recently that we're going to have a home warranty on. So, I mean, definitely. And home warranties matter who you work with. So there's some really good home warranty companies out there. There's some really bad home warranty companies out there.
I can imagine.
So make sure that you have some kind of recommendation for, like, who have you used and how did that go? Because even if they used them, maybe it was a bad experience. Like, tell me about that. What happened?
Tell me more.
Or you can just hire a professional that has a whole list of different contractors and businesses that we do business on regularly, and we know how they work.
That's always an option. What about photos? Like, when taking photos of the home? Oh gosh,
the most important aspect, because so the big thing about photos, please don't take photos on your phone. Like, if you see somebody taking photos, whether it's a friend or family member, or
if it's
agent,
your friend, you need to tell them not to do
somebody, please stop them. like the most important thing is you want professional photos, because the number one thing about marketing anything is you want to get the product in front of people.
First impression.
Now the product is your home, and people are not going to just pop up and say, hey, can we see your house? Generally, they're going to check it out online first. That's how they're going to first find out about it. Most people have an idea about what houses they like before they even step foot into any house. We, if they come to us and they say, hey, this is what we're looking for, and we send them, 15 listings, and they say, okay, well, these are the 7 that we want to see. They already have an idea. Like, they know. And the first part of that is looking at the pictures. And the primary photo is the most important one. Because if it doesn't catch attention, if you only have half the roof, or you're looking up at the sky and all you see is the front door and you can't see the land around it, like it needs to be professional photos.
Even when it's like a really good landscape portrait, whatever the iPhone has nowadays.
Sure.
Even if you take it really well, like, it could look good. It's not going to look like a professional. You could always tell. And
so, a little insider information here. So one of the things about that is there are some websites that are pretty common that people use to look at properties. If you use a non-professional photo that was taken with a phone, they know that you took it with a phone, and they will push your listing way down to the bottom, because their entire purpose is to sell leads to people. That's how they make money, to agents specifically. So if they can't sell a lead to an agent, and they know that someone's not going to want to see that property because it's not a professional photo, you're going to be at the bottom of the list. So no matter what you do, please get professional photos. And that's one of those services that we actually provide, included, no additional charge.
Yeah. And also, I think a lot of people kind of in the last, what year is it? 2024? In the last 3 years, ever since the COVID market subsided, a lot of people think that you can just kind of put photos on a website and just kind of put photos up there,
Sure,
and your home will just sell. And that's just not the reality
not
anymore.
the reality.
So there's other things that are really important. But what about when we're in the process? Like, let's say you are doing this on your own, you've managed to procure a buyer, and now you're under contract. What do you need to be aware of?
A lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things.
A lot of things. So one, read your contract. Most people just, if they don't have professional advice, then they just kind of assume they know what's going on.
They read the numbers.
They read the numbers. They read the fill in the blanks or whatever it is, and they get the big picture, but they might not pay attention to the little things. So are they asking for a home warranty? What attorney are they using? What lender are they using? What type of loan? Are you familiar with the types of loans? Do you know that FHA and VA loans and USDA and all these other loans might require additional steps? Your home may not qualify for those loans. Do you know that? Like there's all these little intricacies within it. And depending on what contract you're using, were there additional addendums attached that maybe you're not aware of or that you didn't pay attention to, like the wording. So get professional advice on the contract. So that's step one, just to make sure that you know what this contract is saying before you sign it.
Yeah.
And even after you sign it, you still need to know what's going on. Important dates.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, your due diligence period, your inspection period, what inspections are they going to do? What inspections do they need to do? Like all of those things.
Yeah.
And then kind of through the process, like important dates, like when does their inspection period end?
What happens after it ends?
What happens after it ends?
No one will ever know unless they know.
What happens if they back out before it ends? What happens then?
Are you owed anything?
Are you owed anything?
Question mark.
Are they owed anything?
How will you know if you don't know if you don't have someone reading the contract for you? How will you know?
Right. And some people, some people can read it and,
Sure.
and they'll understand it.
Right.
But the vast majority of people, they don't read these things. You read them once every 7 to 10 years, maybe. Whereas, we read them
Every day.
14 times a day.
It could also, there's so many little things that could be checked off specifically in our state too.
Sure.
That can alter the entire agreement completely. And if you miss that, it can just destroy a whole deal.
Does the buyer have a home to sell?
Yeah.
Do they have a contingency for them to sell that home?
And when is it going to go under contract?
When is it going to go
when is it
under
gonna
contract?
close?
Is it already listed?
Yeah.
Are they already advertising? Do they have a buyer?
Have they gotten anything, like any showings? Like, what is it? These are all the things that these people are forgetting to ask, and it's important. So, okay, so that's going through the process, but we missed a little bit of something when we talked about marketing and before, and I got excited, so I went to under contract, but before that, exposure in general.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get it in front of as many people as possible, right? So there's this cool little I don't know, pyramid, I guess. Basically, if your home is priced at the market value, about 60% of the home buyers that are in that pool, looking in that neighborhood, in that area, at that price point, will actually come look at your property. 60%. And that's if you price it at market value. If you price it the best way possible, you're going to get about 60% of the available buyers, which isn't a lot to start with.
No,
So
I don't like those odds.
If you price it 10% more than the market pricing, you're only going to get, I think 30%. And then half your buyers go poof.
Yeah.
If you are 10% over what you should be at for the market. At 20% over, you're now only seeing like 7% of the buyers in your pool. So if there's 100 buyers looking, only 7 of them are going to come see your property. And that's huge. The entire point, again, as I mentioned before, is to get your product in front of people. People will not buy your product if they don't even see it. They don't know it exists.
Yeah.
So the entire purpose of selling anything, especially real estate, get people in the door. When I bought my first house, we we looked at a bunch of different properties, and there was this one, and I liked it. My wife did not. And we drove up to this house, and she's like, I don't even want to go in. And I'm like, we got to go in. We got to go in this house. And we walked in, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is a really nice house. And I'm like, right. Like, I've been trying to tell you that, But if she wouldn't have gone in the door, if I wouldn't have convinced her, let's at least go in and look at it, that never would have happened.
Why didn't she like it? Would it look bad on
curb appeal? It didn't have a lot of curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
Okay. Let's talk about that, because I feel like a lot of people think they need to get like mulch and like redo their whole front lawn. What does good curb appeal look like to you?
Depends on the property.
Standard property.
So standard property. Is it in a cul-de-sac?
Okay.
Can you show off the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Like, because that's huge. Lots of people like cul-de-sacs.
Just cutting the grass, though.
Cutting the grass.
Simplest
Oh
thing
my
in the
gosh!
world.
Please
Yeah.
cut your grass.
I'm also scared to walk through it if it's too tall. There might be snakes.
Or you have to find a bush to kind of like jump through, because that's the most. Sorry, that's the most.
I think that's the biggest thing that will make your house look so nice. Trimming the bushes.
I was just about to say that. So making sure that the foliage is well kept, right? So go through, and we may do that occasionally.
We do a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
We do it all.
I have trimmed a few trees recently
Wearing
for
a
a
lot of
client
hats.
that he didn't have time to get to it. So I was like, you know what? You were there.
I was.
But so anyway, making sure that the trees are one, not touching your house. If it's an overgrown bush or an overgrown tree or overgrown flower bed or something, just do a little tidying. Just because we want it to look good. We want people to go in the house. If the outside of the house doesn't look good, they're probably not going to go inside.
The little things. Not replacing a front door, not replacing a big, garage door if it doesn't need replacing.
Sure.
Simply mowing the grass, trimming the bushes, power washing the house. Can't you rent a power washer?
Oh, easily.
Yeah, from
Easily.
Home Depot or something like that.
Costco's got one on sale for like $109
There you go.
right
You
now.
can even buy one, and you can power wash your house every weekend.
Every time.
And it will
you
look
get a
amazing.
chance.
But literally, when people haven't power washed their house in a long time and then they do, the difference.
Shout out to Costco.
The difference is very clear.
Yeah.
So those are three really little things that cost little money that will make
Absolutely.
a huge difference. Back in the day before I looked at properties on MLS and I looked strictly on Zillow, just like looking at stuff. Even now, like if I'm just bored and I'm looking, if I see something with a photo that's crooked and I
gosh.
I literally don't even look at it. I don't care. I just skip right by
That's what I
it.
was talking about with the roof. Like if your photo is missing the top part of the roof, like it's like, nope.
Yeah. If the
next.
grass is overgrown and it looks
Oh, gosh.
messy, I'm like,
Yep.
I don't even want to see the inside.
Yep.
I'm passing this. So
Yep.
it means a lot.
There's tons of leaves and branches and just it's so easy. It's so easy. It's like an hour worth of work can make you so much money in addition, for as far as selling your house. Just a little bit of work.
Yeah.
And if it's easy enough, I might do it, whatever.
Yeah. We do this every day. So for us, it's like simple little
Sure.
things.
Sure.
What about okay, so you're choosing to do this on your own. You're selling for sale by owner. You are typing up a description. What are some things that you think you shouldn't be writing in there?
Beautiful house in this
Investor special.
amazing place. Oh gosh, no,
Just
never,
kidding.
never, ever. Beautiful house in a long drawn out blah, 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 blah. 10 years ago, that was great. 5 years ago, kind of started going away. I don't think a single person reads the description anymore.
We're canceling it.
If we are canceling effective immediately.
No.
If someone is reading through all of that, they're not looking at all the words. They're looking for major things. So how's the roof? How's the HVAC? How's the hot water heater? Are there any new floors? Is there new carpet? Was there a new screened-in porch added? What's been done? What are the major things about the property? Tell me about the property. I don't care that it's a beautiful, elegant, well-maintained, blah, blah, blah. Like
Nestled at the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The AI description has gone away. We're not using that anymore. We are giving straightforward facts about the property that someone can look at this and say, new roof, new HVAC, new hot water heater. Pictures look great. Let's go.
3 miles from downtown. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I will literally go and I see a big listing description and I'm like, oh God. And I have to literally scroll through it to find what I need because I don't want to read. I don't want to read a story. No one wants to read a story. That's not going to sell your house.
Like I said, 10 years ago, stories were great.
Yeah. Maybe. That was before my time.
Yeah. Well, I was still around. But it's not necessary anymore. So stop it.
What about access to the property? Because let's be honest, if someone doesn't live at the home, they're selling it, and
or even especially if they live at the home too.
So let's say that, especially if they live at the home, getting access to it.
Yep. Are you going to let them in and like go stand out front?
And how are you going to track their information?
And how are you going to know that they're not going to rob you? Like,
very good point.
How are you going to qualify them before they go in?
Yeah.
Because, are they going to have some kind of oversight or are they going to be pre-approved? Do they even have the money?
Yeah.
Or is it your neighbor's cousin 10 doors down who's bored, who just wants to shop and look at your house and see what they can... no, anyway.
Yeah, all of those things. But also, I think one of the biggest things that sellers don't think about sometimes when they want to sell it by themselves is we capture all of the information of the agent, the agent's phone number, when they walked in the door, when they left the house.
When they put the lockbox back.
Yeah, all of that stuff. And we capture, all of their information. We call them right away and we get information of what feedback they're going to get. I highly doubt potential buyers are going to give direct feedback to a seller. And if they do, that's cool. But I find a lot of people are a little uncomfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in.
Your house was crap. I didn't like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, people aren't going to win. They're like, it's okay. Right. But when we can come in and be like, okay, well, what do we have to do to make it work? If it's even a possibility, what would you be willing to talk about?
Oh my gosh, we love this. Yes. This is the best thing ever. We'll give you $10,000 more.
Yeah.
No.
But our house isn't on the market yet.
Yeah.
Things like that.
But we can't close for 6 months and we want $40,000 in closing costs.
Yeah, exactly. So pictures, access. What else are we missing here? God, I could talk about this stuff all day. Smell? No, I'm just kidding.
How to reach the biggest pool of buyers. So how do you do that?
You just put it on the MLS and hope that it's up. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, so many people do that.
Yeah,
Why?
I know. So honestly, I think the biggest misconception is that we just put it on the MLS and sell. Yep. And when you're selling for sale by owner, you're literally just putting it on on Zillow and on a website. I don't know the name, and I'm hoping it sells.
I think we can say that.
Whatever. You're putting it on a website and you're hoping it sells.
You're putting it on a website and hope enough traffic gets there.
Right.
Unfortunately, the one that you mentioned included, they don't really like for sale by owners. That's why if you go directly in and you just type a property and or type an area, Greenville, South Carolina homes or whatever it is, for sale by owners don't show up. That is a specific setting that you have to go in and click the button that you want for sale by owners to show up.
Yeah.
So exposure is not really there unless people are looking specifically for sale by owners. If they are looking specifically for sale by owners, why are they looking specifically for sale by owners?
Great segue. That is such a good point. Do you really want someone that is out there specifically looking for sale by owner homes? Because we know that they have a motive, and it's likely that they feel they could probably negotiate more than they would if they were represented by someone, right?
Potentially. And I mean, especially since, again, 89% of home sales have an agent involved. And one side or the other, or both sides or whatever, just have an agent involved. So, I mean, if an agent is coming in, for sale by owner, like they know the contract, they know what they're sending to you, they know all of that. Like, don't you want somebody negotiating for you and kind of looking at that? I mean, if somebody's, say, somebody sues me, I'm not gonna just represent myself.
Right.
Like, I need an attorney because they have an attorney. I want an attorney. If they have a real estate agent, I want a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because I want somebody who really sells homes and does this and knows what they're doing and can provide professional opinions and feedback and direction. on
Yeah.
which way I'm going to go. Because my attorney says, you know what, like you should do this, this, and this, I'm probably going to do that. If my attorney says you should do this, this, and this, and I'm like, no, I don't want to, like, that's probably going to be a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You probably don't know what you're talking about. You probably should listen to your attorney.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a matter of just having someone in your corner to make sure that you're represented and the things get done and you don't get to closing and you look at the closing statement and it says you're giving the buyer $25,000.
That would never happen with us.
Yeah,
Ever.
and the price is, $10,000 than what you thought that you agreed
It's
to.
terrifying.
And now, you've packed up your house, you've moved out, and you get to closing and it's like, well, this isn't what I agreed to. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, this is closing day and they have a case to sue you for specific performance and make you do it because you signed off on it. There's all kinds of things. And it's just, this is important.
Yeah.
It is important because homes are expensive. It is the biggest investment you're probably ever going to make. Most people, your home is your biggest investment. Why are you going to take a chance and not do what is needed to make sure you're protected with your biggest investment?
Yeah. When we talk a little bit about exposure or lack thereof, something I think about that we do a lot that I know people probably don't think of as postcards and sending those out. There are so many ways that we just kind of blow it up when we have a listing and just kind of throw it out there. Like
absolutely.
Between the groups on
Again,
Facebook.
exposure. We want more than 60% of the buyers that we were looking in that area to come in.
Yeah.
We want as many of them as we can. We want 70, 80% or more in the door.
Yeah.
Because we know if we can get them in the door, statistically, someone's going to buy it. We're going to be able to negotiate a deal. There might be 5 people that buy it. It might go tens of thousands of dollars over what you have it listed at because
if you price it right.
If you price it right and do all the things. But if you just make sure that you have that exposure, because if it sits on the market for too long, now you're chasing the market. And now, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to reduce your price? Well, now what's wrong with it? Like, you just have to make sure that you're doing all the things regularly, consistently to stay in front of the market.
Yeah. And it's a lot and it can be expensive and it can be really overwhelming.
Sure.
And that's where we come in.
Every time.
Always to save the day. It's a whole big thing and it requires a lot of moving parts and pieces and a lot of attention to detail and not forgetting anything. And I think if you could give someone like one free tip, biggest tip, if they were going to sell on their own, I know mine, but you're going to give yours, what would it be?
I've got to reiterate professional pictures.
Really? That would be your one biggest one?
That is the one, because I mean, we scroll through a lot of for sale by owners.
Yeah.
The other day, I saw one, and their primary picture was a picture of their kitchen that did not look fantastic.
Yeah.
That doesn't get buyers in the door.
Gonna scroll past it.
Like,
yeah.
do they want to sell it, or are they filling out the market, which is fine. I think they have to pay a fee to get on those, but if you're willing to pay a fee to fill out the market, fine. But if you actually want to sell,
Yeah.
let's get some professionals involved.
Mine would probably be a strategic pricing strategy. And I say that because a price, just an asking price, shooting for the stars, is not a strategic price. It's not even a strategy. It's just literally doing whatever you can. It's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, on average, a first sale by owner sells probably 30 plus days more or sits on the market longer than a home
If it sells.
Right. So risking that, going too high on the price, not having a strategy to make sure that you're getting people in the door. I mean, if you're not getting people in the door, you're off. No. You're done.
Something's wrong.
Right.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Like if in the first week, if you don't have like people, especially, I mean, even though we are going through a shift right now.
Yeah.
Are you out?
I'm empty. Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry.
Gotta end. I'm just kidding.
Even though we are kind of going through a little bit of a shift in the market right now, there's still a lot of buyers. We just had another one that we had so many people wanting that property that we did sell significantly over asking.
Yeah.
Like significantly.
And it's been a while since I've had that happen, to be honest with you. So that honestly is like a huge key indicator that it's shifting again.
Well, maybe, because we've had another one that we had multiple offers on.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
We've had two that we've had multiple offers on.
This one was just
this is the
really
third.
over.
Oh, this one was just above and beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, above and beyond. But that's what you want to generate. You want to generate multiple offers.
Yeah.
Like even right now with interest rates where they are, there's ways to combat that. And I might be about to say what you were about to say. But one of the big things right now, especially in our area, new construction. New construction is so hard to compete with because they are offering a rate buy down. They're offering closing costs. They're offering all these things. And if you're not aware of what's going on around you and that, hey, there's a neighborhood 2 miles up the street that's $50,000 less than what you're asking for a brand new home, and they're paying closing costs and a rate buy down and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And people, you know, the sentiment from the homeowner is generally, well, you know, those houses aren't built as well, or they don't have this, or mine has that, or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, do you think that is worth $50,000 more? Do you think that someone's going to pay $600 to $700 more a month
for real
for
hardwood
30 years for what you just described? Well, I don't know.
The one that we had that had multiple, and it was just so above and beyond what we were asking. There was new construction down the street.
Sure.
I think even around the corner, there's
But
more.
we priced it right.
Yeah.
The photos were great.
And what did the house look like?
Super clean.
Yes.
There
Not
were
just clean.
immaculate.
Yeah.
There were no cobwebs.
There wasn't even a chip in the paint. And I know that's unrealistic for some people, but they went like above and beyond. Like there was chips on.
And they replaced the filters that I told them to.
They did. You looked up and saw those things. And I was like, oh, what are those? Look at those. Those are really dirty. But those things. And that's why it's really good to go together, honestly, with somebody. If you're
We make
going
a great team.
Yes. And if you're going to sell your house on your own, find someone that you can team up with to help you with it, because four eyes are always better than one.
Sure.
Or one set. Whatever.
So, anything else?
Okay. What are the five senses? Smell, hear, look. I mean, seeing. What are they? Tell them before I embarrass myself.
Sight, smell, hearing, touch,
Taste.
taste.
Can't taste it. Don't lick the walls. Don't do that.
Maybe don't do that.
Don't do that.
Especially if it's built prior to 1970.
Yeah, then definitely don't lick it. I think that's everything.
Cool.
I think that's pretty much it.
Well, cool. Well, I guess we will see you guys on the next podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions, I'm going to put a link to our contact information below, along with our website and all of that. So if you need a realtor, real estate agent, whatever you need, anywhere in the country, we are happy to help. We've established a very big, vast, awesome network of professionals who are ready, willing, and able to take care of you. So reach out, let us know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave any comments, questions, suggestions, any of that below as well. So we'll see you next time. Again, I'm Jordan with Green Art Properties. This is Rebecca, also with Green Art Properties, and we'll see you in a month.